Greetings and aloha. What's going on? It's Mike's from livemyassoff.com. I'm here with a cool and refreshing beverage, true lemon, really, with Sprite, and hopefully you're having an amazing night. I'm here. Let me just bring this over. I'm here in Bangkok, as many of you will know, and tonight's Friday night, and I'm just sitting here, and there's a couple things I wanted to do, not the least of which is I wanted to try out this Melon app, which is basically Streamlabs in browser solution, but I also wanted to try it on my cute little HP Chromebook here that basically is I think it was $79, and I'm pretty excited about that. And oh, okay, so see, here's the thing is that full-time foreigner, miss you, buddy. Hey, how you doing there? So does it automatically put the chat up there? That's kind of cool. I didn't know that. I miss you too. How are you? Where are you? Actually, I just decided to give this melon thing a try. I can't remember for the life of me who told me about it. I want to say it was, God, I want to say it was Tom from Thailand Digital Nomad, but I'm not totally sure on that. So I apologize for that. But it's kind of neat. I mean, it's got like these, it's got like different things, right? And so because it's Streamlabs, right? Then you can like, move stuff around. And so that's kind of cool. I like moving stuff around. But currently it is November, let's see where I'm at. It is November the 4th, Friday evening here in the Big Mango. And the other neat thing that I can do is I can bring this, it's currently on top. I can bring it down the bottom. I mean, you want to talk about technology all up in this piece. And I can also reverse the direction. So anyway, so what I thought I would do is just kind of like flip on the breakers, as they say. I thought I would and come over here and say, oh, okay. So the first one showed, but then I have to do the next one. Okay, sounds good. Bangkok. So I am. If you know the Punawiti stops, then I know I am in. If you know the BTS stops, rather, I am in Punawiti, and so that is. So see now. Oh wait, now did this come up because I have the So I'm doing a couple things at once, and so I apologize. So anyway, to answer your question, so I'm over here in Punawiti. If you know BTS, then most people will know, like, Prom Pom Ekamai, that sort of thing. Oh, and then there's a delay there. Oh, you know why? I know why that's that way. Because I tell you what, let me hide this there, and then I'll bring these. But see, then it's way too late. It gets delayed. Let me oh, I know. Lad Prow. Nice, man. That's cool. Let me do this so I'm not duplicating. And then let me just do this first, because this actually shows up first in my browser here, which is cool. I'm trying to remember. Is it in settings? Maybe it's in apps. Again, it's widgets. That's what it is. Alert box, donation goal. Okay, so I'm going to turn off the chat box, but I'm going to leave the donation. Oh, I don't have a donation goal, but I'm going to leave the alert box on there. So if someone, like, for whatever reason, decides to do a what is it? It's a super chat, but it's also, what is it? Not super icons, but like super emotions or something. I can't remember what it's called. But anyway, it goes over here. It will go bling. So there you go. You get some acknowledgement. You get a trophy for showing up, which is, of course, what we all love in today's society. So today, here's what I've been doing lately. I went to let's see. Oh, wait, no, seriously, dude. Oh, that's huge. Does it show up on whether I double click or not? You're in BKK on Wednesday, like next Wednesday. Oh my God! You get here the same day. You get here the same day as Robbie. Robbie gets here, I think, when one or two. I think 1 in the morning on Wednesday, and then he's gonna just like crash for a little bit, and then we're probably gonna get together later on, and and start talking business. If you guys follow the other channel, The Spot, which will be pretty cool, which of course is the new and improved Kiss FM. Patea. So yeah, I think everyone actually deserves a trophy. Just ask them. And so this is a neat little sort of format here. I kind of dig this. I find it odd though that, I mean, using, because you know how like if you don't pay for these things, right, they give you basically like some features, not the least of which is that they have their logo on it, right? So their logo is up here in the upper left and the upper right and the lower right. But their scroll, when you use their scroll, it goes right over their logo. So that's sort of interesting. Oh man, are you lucky? That is outstanding. 3:40 p.m. man. Usually coming over here, I would always seem to land at like, I think I would usually land about usually midnight, 1 a.m. I know when I got here, every day was precious, right? And every day on my visa was precious. And so when I stamped in, it was at like 12:35 in the morning. So I got one less day than I wanted. I was like, that's kind of a drag, but I'll never forget that. I was flashing back on that because it's November 2022, right? And so November 19th of 2022, I left San Diego. Actually, when did my flight leave? It was super early in the morning. So actually, I think I left my house for the last time, closed the door, or threw the keys on the kitchen table, closed the door, and I had the car, packed and everything. Drove up to LAX, and I think it was like 10 p.m. or something. On the 18th, I left. And then on the 19th, my flight left. And then on, let's see, on the 21st, I landed on the 20th. But then by the time I got to immigration, it was the 21st. And that began my life in Thailand. And then I met, I think, I'm trying to think when I met Gracie. I think it was like 2 days later. I think I got here on the 19th. I slept in the hotel, and then I went to the next hotel. And then I think she was coming in on the 21st, and I saw her over there. So, and then surprised her at Don Muang Airport, because, of course, she was flying in from the Philippines, right? So kind of a local flight, basically. Have a great time. They are pretty cool here now, at least the weather. Isn't it, though? Oh, my God, dude, I'm telling you. Yeah, I would agree. The last few days have just been outstanding weather. And it's still hot. I'm still sweating, walking around, which I freaking love. It's the reason I moved here, for the hot and the humid, along with every other, the other top 1,113 reasons. And I was just like so psyched to be here full time. I mean, and again, bad stuff. I mean, so there was this pandemic, maybe, and I don't know. I was talking to someone the other day, and they said, yeah, but what was it like? I mean, you were here for COVID and it was locked down and everything. I said, dude, as far as like global medical emergencies, as far as I'm concerned, this is the best place in the whole entire world to have been through it. But again, I also wasn't elsewhere, so I can't compare that. But in my estimation, this was the best. Tom, thank you for coming by. Evening to you. I have a question for you. Are you the guy that told me that you used Melon to do your streams? Because I'm trying Melon tonight, and it's just a free version, so obviously their logo's all over the place. But I could have sworn it was you that said that you used that to stream live, but maybe not. Can't remember. The weather has been just outstanding. And again, this is me, right? Because I freaking love hot and humid. I opened the windows, or it was up my balcony yesterday morning, I think, and I was like out there pretty early, and I'm like, "Ooh, it's a little chilly." I mean, and you don't say that in Bangkok. I mean, that chili in Bangkok did not. I mean, unless you're like ordering chili, that's like the only time you really say that. But it was just, oh my God. I had to laugh at myself because it was just like, okay, no, it's not chili, dude. So it's funny now. See, now I can't find the silly place where I do the text and things. There we go. If I click on the button that says text, guess what happens? I'm able to manipulate the text. Yeah, so I'm kind of digging this Melon thing. I don't know if I mean, again, I'm a big fan of in-browser stuff. So I don't know, maybe I'll use it. moving forward. But I do like the fact that I can, like take stuff and move it around. That's kind of neat. I mean, especially in browser solution, that's not real common. So this is kind of fun. I was wondering here's something. So if I'm sure you guys that like live over here, right? You get a lot of questions like from your buddies and potentially you answer them. Okay, wait, hold on, dude. Seriously, 4 degrees Celsius? Where are you, man? 4 degrees Celsius. I'm trying to think where in the world that would be. I mean, I know my parents are in Boston. It's not 4 degrees Celsius there. Okay, yeah. And again, that's one of the main reasons that I would use it. And many of my other, like, Rike and that sort of thing. I agree. It's totally simple. But anyway, so I can't remember who told me this, but anyway, so this is kind of fun with the melon thing. 4 degrees. Okay, that is just. I mean, I remember like Halloween, being home for Halloween, so New England, right, Boston area, and I remember having to wear thermal underwear underneath my costume, right, because it was like so cold. And that was it says double click to toggle spotlight. I don't know what that means. I don't even know what that means. What does that even mean? The neat thing about this weather is that, I mean, I walk quite a bit, but lately I've been walking a lot. So today I did about 16,000 steps, which on the Fit app from Google was 12, just under 13 kilometers. And then a few days ago, I did 18,000 steps. That was about 14 kilometers, I think. Did I just say 12,000 kilometers? No, I said 12 kilometers, 12, 13 kilometers. And so that's been kind of cool, man. I mean, I do like walking a lot. And the great news is I found these like, I have had like custom insoles like molded to my feet because I have a really high arch. And those are kind of cool. And those are about like, I don't know, like 3,000 baht. But for like 1,500 baht, I found these pre-molded ones. And actually, for whatever reason, the high version of their arch fits me perfectly. And it's great because I can like go into a store and just buy them, throw them in my sneakers. I don't have to have them, heat up a molded thing and then carve it and then put it in my. But these have been amazing. But in doing so, I can walk like, quite frankly, for, 10, 15 kilometers. My lower back doesn't hurt. Oh, I friggin' love it. It is just, because I'll tell you something. It is, like, for example, today, I went for a walk on Sukhumvit, and my goal was I was going to go for a walk on Sukhumvit to Lumpini Park so I could go for a walk in Lumpini Park. So, but, I mean, I have a tendency to, like, overdo it. So there's that. Can I move this thing down? No, see, I can't move that down. That bothers me. But, yeah, I'll figure it out. I'm sure I'll figure out all the stuff with the rock and melon. So hold on. Sound great, but the picture is a little fuzzy. Okay, so actually anyway, this is on a laptop that cost me $79. Although it does say that it's doing 720p at 30 frames a second. So I'm pretty certain that it's fuzzy for two reasons. One is I'm on a, low res laptop, so I'm sure the camera's not awesome. I've got a softbox on me, which is why it's kind of so bright in my friggin' living room. So that seems okay. It looks okay here. I haven't really monitored it on my channel, but yeah, I mean, I'm glad it sounds good because, as you guys know, I'm a sound guy. And yeah, absolutely. What is it? 24, right? Yeah, dude, totally. 24 degrees. Here, I do need to check something because when I click on a, like in StreamYard, you click on a comment, right? And it immediately goes on the screen. Okay, so when I click on it here, it says show on screen, and it shows on the screen for me, but then around it, it says double click to update. So right now, in my mind, 24 degrees C in Rayong should be displayed, but I don't think it is. I think I need to double click to put it in there. So that kind of bothers me. And this is going to come up for a second, and then I'll mute it. So fear not. You know what's crazy is that a long pumbank, really? I don't know what that means. Oh, I think I see what happens. Okay. So, I think what happened, my YouTube app on my phone has not worked like almost all night long. It's the weirdest thing. And I tried Wi-Fi and 5G, and it doesn't, like, I've been just playing videos and they don't work. I just get this spinning kind of thing. So friggin' annoying. But anyway, so therefore I can't tell whether let me get rid of this. I can't tell whether my oh, hold on. I have a second laptop. I have a backup. You're watching on a 65-inch TV? Oh, dude, well then, yeah, I'm quite certain I'm grainy on the 65-inch, dude. That's pretty. Oh, that's that massive TV that's behind you when you do live streams, right? But it was funny. So I have a local friend. I call her Sunscreen because when she said her name to me, that's what I thought I heard her say. She's got her English is actually quite phenomenal. But she's Thai, and I think she's definitely well educated. Anyway, so I met her when I was helping my buddy at his stand, at his table, at his display, during what's called the Hope Fair. The Hope Fair, they have that about once a month here, and it's like local vendors will go. So people that like make their own wine, and for my buddy makes their own juice. Some people resell clothes, some people knit, and then they sell those, right? But let me log in here and double check on see what I look like from my side. Anyway, so I was chatting with her, and she's like, "Oh yeah, this weather's great. I hope it lasts." And I'm thinking, well, wait a minute, aren't you like from here? I mean, this is like November through February. This is the time, man. This is the weather. This is the absolute best time to be here. So yeah, I do hope it good quality on a 7.1-inch phone. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I'm going. So my other laptop is like a 14-inch. It's only 11 inches actually, but I call it my foot. And let me mute this first. Oh, actually, so yeah, you're right. The video is a little grainy, and like the movement isn't super. Yeah, I can see where it's kind of juggling around. And again, I'm on Wi-Fi, but it shouldn't matter, right? I mean, well, no, I mean it is 7:30, so I'm guessing that like everyone in the entire building is using their internet. But yeah, so okay, so good. So it displays 24 degrees C in Rayong, which means I don't need to double click to update it. Oh, come on. All right, dude, seriously? Like with your sack of potatoes? Okay, dude, I totally saw you. Thank you for coming by the way. I friggin' love you guys. I don't think you guys know how I'm not only do I love Patty Doyle, I am in love with Patty Doyle. And he is so freaking talented. I mean, it is not even funny. The delta in quality of videos, like for example, between mine and his. I mean, yeah, he's got stuff, okay, but he uses it so well. Not the least of which is his freaking adorable personality. I mean, the guy. If you guys have the opportunity to meet YouTubers, right? I would submit that 51% of them that you meet, you will be like, wow, you're really different on camera. I would argue that I'm pretty much the same guy I am now on, behind the camera, on the other side of the camera. I'm 110% at 80 miles an hour, highly caffeinated. I will hug you fired. I can actually make things happen that are lousy, but we can leave with a smile on our face. And anyway, so Patty, I saw his recent video, and dude, cool motorbike shot, by the way. But yeah, I was wondering about Laos, man, because Lao or Laos, I don't know. I'm not going to pretend that I'm like Southeast Asian sophisticated by potentially saying it the right way. Like I know one way is Lao. Oh my God, I need a beverage. I know one thing is Lao, and then like the country is Lao or it's Laos, or the people are Lao or the people are Laos. So I don't know. But no, dude, I have not been there. And I definitely want to go there. And I will say that your videos now are in the classification of intellectual documentary, because what happens is when I watch your videos along with the videos, have you ever heard of Side Trip Life? He's friggin' awesome. I have to sit down and I have to like allocate attention units to watch it, and then I have a notebook and a pen and a paper nearby, and I write down like stuff that I want to do. So yeah, that's I highly recommend his videos, man. They're so informative. It's like, okay, this is what I want to do. So yeah, so that's good. Yeah, 8-inch. It's it's a 7-inch, 8-inch phone, honey. 8-inch phone. Is that the Canadian? What, Patty Doyle? No, he's not. He's not the Canadian. He should have his own show on TV. No, dude, it's friggin' spectacular. I mean, in fact, so wait a second. Am I wrong in saying that he was actually approached to do? Was it him? I can't remember whether it was him or maybe he was just like. Maybe he was just like hanging out somewhere, and the people he was with, like, because he meets friends like other YouTubers along the way, and I think he was having like lunch or dinner with something, and I think that they were like really popular TV show people or something like this. But anyway, NGP. Okay, so dude, like, how many times you can change your channel name, bro? I mean, what's it going to be next? Just like C. C is for cookie, which is good enough for me. Oh, C is for cookie, which is good enough for me. C is for cookie. Sesame Street chest bump, ladies and gentlemen. Good to see you, Chris. Love you, dude. He is. I absolutely do. Tom C. Line. Wow, you talk more broken English than the Thais who live in my building, dude. Tom C. Line. Tom C. Line? Or is that what you meant? Tom C. Line. My kun mai. Okay. But what I've wondered about Laos, whether I'm pronouncing it correctly or not, is it the Thailand of 20 years ago? Is it the Thailand? I had a guy, so I go to meetings, right? And so one of my buddies was sharing today about how when he was telling a story about how he was in Bangkok in 1999, and he made the statement, and I knew that there was no BTS then. But he made the statement, and there were no metered cabs back then, so he had to take the bus everywhere. And I was like, really? No metered cabs? I mean, I would think that, maybe they wouldn't have the digital display, but you think that they would at least have, I mean, it's 1999, right? I mean, I get that there basically weren't like cell phones over here then. When did I first come up? So, okay, I came over here in 2012 for the first time. At that time, my really good buddy, Eddie, who had been telling me for basically 15 years or 14 years, dude, come over here, check it out. So for 14 years, so that means that he was coming over here starting in 1998. And I remember him telling, well, first of all, when he would come over here, we'd take all these pictures, and then he would go home and he would put them in envelopes, right? The rolls of film, he would put them in envelopes, and then he would get them developed, right? And then he would take these pictures and then he would bring them and show them to me, right? Now, obviously, they would be of all these like cute girls. Wait, what is this? And so are you? Oh, come on, dude. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. That's great. You going to bed? Right on, dude. Love you. I'll just leave it at that one. How's that? Patty is amazing. We'll stick with Patty being amazing. In a sack of potatoes. Patty Doyle, for God's sake. So I don't know. I mean, do you guys, Chris, you've been he just left. Who's been coming over here like for that long? Like basically around 1998, 1999, turn of the century sort of thing. Because I find it hard to believe that the taxis I understand how, they potentially like drove you somewhere and then they said, oh yeah, that'll be like 50 baht or whatever. I'm like, yeah, okay, fine, whatever. And if the price is reasonable, then you really don't care, right? It's only when you get somewhere and he's like, oh yeah, we've done 7 blocks, so that'll be 700 baht. And you're like, okay, dude, come on, seriously. And then of course you're just like, okay, right. I watched one of those YouTube videos that reminded me as a foreigner, get the price ahead of time. And it's like, you learn by doing, right? But the other thing was he talked about the flooding. And he's like, you guys think this flooding was bad lately, if for no other reason than, of course, it's on the news and it's more visible. And he's like, oh, no. He said, buses were driving in like 2.5, 3 feet of water on Sukhumvit, right? And I'm just like, oh, my God, that was friggin' amazing. Okay, so you were here in 97. Okay, so was your experience then, or did you just like tuk-tuks, I'm sure, were pretty popular. But were you able, did the taxis have meters in them? I can't imagine they didn't. It's kind of, I don't know, it just seems sort of odd to me. You both have awesome personalities, probably my favorite 2 Thai YouTubers. Jesus, man, thank you very much. Wait, did you say you're here? I hate for you to just praise me and not take you out for a smoothie or something. That'd be really cool. Okay, so hold on. They're in 97, metered cab first time. Okay, so that means like they were available. So that was sort of so 97 was the first time that you remember them having metered cabs. And like before that, was it sort of a goodwill thing? I mean, they have like a tip jar. It's like, yeah, I mean, gas is $1 for a whole tank full. Oh, does anybody know this question? When did natural gas and liquid propane become well, not necessarily a viable fuel, but a popular one in the sense that you can pull into a freaking gas station and there's like, 12 hoses, right? And it's like, okay, do you want like, the 7 different flavors of diesel, or do you want this E27 stuff, or do you want, natural gas, or do you want liquid propane? And so it was just amazing. When I first came here, that was amazing to me. I'm like, because of course, right? Like, what does not everyone. What do many ignorant, and I was in this classification for a while, what do many ignorant people in Western country, in the United States, I won't speak ill of the Canadians, but in the United States, what do they say about, places like this? It's a third world country. I used to live in San Diego. Okay. It's one thing to like live in Ohio and never go outside your hometown and be like, okay, yeah, make judgment things about Mexico based on your ignorance. Okay, I get that. But I was in San Diego. And for people who live in San Diego to like not have at least some modicum of conceptual like idea of like what really happens in Mexico, what level of advancement they have. But I would go down to like San Felipe. And the guy the engineer that I was working with, you think, okay, logical thinking, right? Probably reads the news. He's like, oh my God, but Mexico's a third world country. And I'm like, well, no, they're not. But anyway, so people would say that about Thailand. And again, I came here first in 2012. Now, in 2012, the BTS was full tilt boogie. Like I stayed at the JW and I'm like, okay, what do I do? I said to the concierge. And of course, she whips out a map and then she highlights stuff, told me where to go. Grand Palace, Wat Po, go to BTS to, I almost said Samut Prakan. That's not right. To oh God, for the love of God. The stop where you get off and then you walk to the ferry, right? And then you take the ferry up to the Grand Palace and Wat Po on the right-hand side. Anyway, Sapan Taksin, duh. Okay. So anyway, so I did that. So, I mean, I was doing like BT. I mean, there was modern taxis everywhere. And, and I'm staying at a JW, right? So I'm like, okay, this is not. And so I take the BTS over to Siam, right? Because I needed to change to the Siloam line to be able to go to Sapan Taksin. And I get off at Siam, and first of all, it's like 2 stories. I'm like, okay, this is, concrete's been around for years. I mean, they're doing okay. But I look out at this mall, and I'm in a third world country. And I look at Siam Paragon, and I'm like, you got to be kidding me, right? And so at some point, I like got it when elevator 4th, 5th floor, and I'm like, a Bentley, really? Like I can buy a freaking Bentley in a mall just as I left public transportation. And I'm like, okay, this is but to be and this was. I think most of you guys who are from other countries, you just are like, well, dude, you're an American. That's, of course, you don't know anything about anything else. And you have this belief that everything you need is available in America, so you never need to leave. Now, to be fair, that's partially true. I mean, the U.S. is enormous, and there is a lot of options, for sure. But hold on. Wait. Yeah, you said that, right? Yeah. Oh, full-time. Lot prow. Well, dude, what are you doing this weekend? Shoot me an email, man. Send me an email to Mike's at livemyassoff.com. And let's go to get. Oh, Lot Prow. Well, you know what's cool about Lot Prow is my very, very good friend Jamie. Perhaps you've heard me talk about him before. He owns a juice company called Lifestyle Juicery. And now, correct me if I'm wrong, full time, is Lot Prow MRT is on the other side of the river. And it's about 5 stops on the MRT, and there's a mall that you get off. There's a mall that you get when you get off the BTS at this one particular stop. There's a mall. It's okay, right? That's like saying, that Indian tailor over by Nana? Yeah, right. Okay. Anyway, dude, shoot me an email. It'd be cool to hang out. Pass on the next question. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, about them, about dumb Americans. In New Zealand, we have LPG and C, but like for how long? Because I mean, it's available in the US. It's just very uncommon. I mean, you can even buy a Hyundai that runs on hydrogen, but again, you know, you're not driving a common vehicle that you can get repaired down the street at Jimmy's tire shop. Yeah, that's the Prague guy. Okay, cool. Yeah, shoot me an email, man. Yeah, so okay, now 97, there's no BTS or Metro, and I get that. But when did they start building it? Because didn't it go live like in 99 or was it 2000 that it went, you know, live with, oh God, I knew this because I was like really interested. For example, I was very interested in the BTS because it's electric. So obviously electrical engineer, geek out. Let me check this out. But what I didn't and of course, you know, you look at the trains, you look at the cars, and you think to yourself, okay, well, there's, you know, it's going to go both directions, and so there's probably, you know, an engine at each end, and then, you know, the motor, rather, not an engine, but a motor, and it's going to like basically kind of push, pull, you know, in either direction. No, as it turns out, they buy the cars in fours, so they don't buy like a 4-car train, and then they have like an extra car that they can throw in the middle. I used to think that. And I had a buddy of mine that swore that was the case. But then I actually heard an interview on the Bangkok podcast. Great. I mean, that is like the PBS high quality podcast. So the Bangkok podcast. And these guys had a guy, engineer, I mean, not like a train engineer like you did, but like an actual engineer from BTS. And they said, you know, so like the BTS is really crowded and you guys got to bring trains. Like, can't you just open it up? And he says, no. He says, we got to buy them that way. So you either buy a 4-car train or a 5-car train. Now, I believe they do own 5-car trains, but for the most part, and the thing about the 4-car trains, and this is where I found it was just incredibly interesting, is so there's, you know, 2 cars on the end and 2 in the middle. The middle 2 cars are the ones that have the propulsion motors in them. So in other words, all the power that moves the thing in either direction comes from the middle 2 cars, not the end ones. And I just found that to be very, I mean, again, it's not like a Thai design. I mean, they basically called 1-800-Siemens and they're like, hey, so like you guys make these things, right? Like, can we just buy one and have you guys install it because you're German and you're friggin' amazing and we know it's going to work all the time? And yeah, okay. See, that was, yeah, being built. So it probably started then, right? I can't even imagine. I mean, I'm sure everyone that was like, you know, they're like, okay, dude, so traffic was bad on Sukhumvit before you bozos put these friggin' giant, you know, I'm sure there were cranes and they're ripping the street. Because I know I've been like on main streets where they're building the extension. So for example, right over by, what's a good example of this? Where like the traffic comes to a freaking standstill because they're building more BTS extensions. Changwatana immigration, right? Because they're extending the line. And I remember actually there, and then there was another place Gracie and I went to. It's like it's basically like this kind of the closest floating market around here, right? And so Gracie and I like took we took BTS over to some stop, and then from there we took a taxi to this floating market. And in doing so, like, I mean, it was 1 lane, right? And there was like 4 lanes of traffic in Bangkok down to 1. And the nice thing about traffic in Bangkok is while it can be annoying, I will say the drivers, I think they're infinitely more polite than any sort of traffic that occurs in Boston. I'll just say that. Oh. And so, and you know, you're in an air conditioned box. So it's like, all right, fine, whatever. I'm going to get where I'm going to get eventually. And that's, you know, I'll hang out on my phone, which was again, nothing you could do back then. So 97, yes, sounds right. Because I think it went live in either 99 or 2000. Being an American, I completely agree with you. I'm just amazed all the time. Yeah, and so well, and think about it, right? So, I mean, I grew up in Boston, and I'll give you a great example of like how the whole like we don't travel outside of our country. So very common in New England for like spring break, right? You would go down to Florida. And, you know, in California, you go to spring break, you go to like Arizona and party over there, you cruise to Hawaii, right? And it's really easy. And obviously there's, you know, places in Mexico potentially, but for the most part, let's just say US. But to give you an example of how silly I would like pursue tropical weather kind of thing. So it's December in Boston, right? And my buddies and I, we would get in the car. And to give you an idea of when this was, we would buy some Jolt Cola, all the sugar and twice the caffeine. Big fan of that beverage. And we would start driving, and we would drive straight all the way from basically Boston, just south of Boston, about literally like 15 miles, all the way down the I-95 to the end of it, which is Key West, Florida, 27 hours later. And we would drive straight, and we would switch off driving and all that. 27 hours, okay? And we would plan it so that we would get to the Bahia Honda National Park, or State Park, actually, so that we could get there when it opens. Because when you get there when it opens, then you stand in line and you potentially get a camping spot. And it was beautiful, right? It was gorgeous, like right on the ocean. It was beautiful. And I love that. 27 hours we drove. So then I'm home. So I'm like traveling eventually, right? Eventually I finally started traveling in my life. And then I end up like back home in Boston, and I'm just like sitting around, and I'm there for like 2 or 3 weeks. I'm going to visit my folks. And for some reason I get like an email or something like this. Anyway, I got informed somehow that I could basically take a flight from Boston to Bermuda for $99. And at the time that was like really, really cheap. I mean, now I can $99, I can go to Bali. So but anyway, then, so I'm like, okay, so I could have, and I think it was an hour and a half. I'm going to say it was let's say for sake of arguments, 2-hour flight. And so I like used to drive 27 hours because it was on, the continental US, and it just made sense. I mean, it was literally at the end of the continental United States, but still we would drive like crazy amount. And instead of like taking a 2-hour flight over to, over to Bermuda, it's like, what? I should have gone. And then I talked to some of my buddies, now that we're older and stuff, and they're like, oh yeah, we go there for long weekends. I'm like, push, like what? So now like travel is just so like, oh yeah, that's oh wait, hold on. You moved from Orange County. Oh, over to here, huh? East Coast, awesome. I love the feel and the history. Great food. No question. And I absolutely adore the East Coast for about 2 months of the year, July and August. And even this summer when I was home, so it was nice. We got there like the last week in June, and the weather was great. But we didn't come home until about September, I want to say 13th. And it was getting chilly, man. For example, I had an electric heater, and I would plug it in the porch, my parents' porch, where I would hang out, and Gracie and I would drink our coffee. It's just like, yeah, it's my mother's like, well, it's going to get up to 70 today. And I'm like, up to? I mean, we over here, we're like, dude, it could get down to 70 today. Bring a jacket. Which, of course, I do, especially if I'm going to go anywhere indoors around here. You guys ever been to the movie theaters here? And what's so fun, the movie theaters here, many of them are like luxury movie theaters, quite frankly. But what's so funny about the movie theaters is they keep them so friggin' cold. And they're completely aware of it, because I've been to movie theaters where you go in and there is a plastic bag on the chair when you enter, and because it is a sealed blanket, and it's on every chair. And I'm like, you guys could just like turn that up to like 24 maybe or something like that. I mean, this right now, my AC, I get a little warm. I mean, it is an LED, but it's still kind of close for the softbox. So I get a little warm doing these things. So I get the fan on me. But the AC, I mean, that never goes below 26. I'm a 26. I sleep 27. And I also, as you guys know, I also like run the air conditioner with the sliding glass door wide open, because I mean, I like outdoor weather. I like fresh air, provided it's at least 70. Been spoiled by weather in places that live, California, now town. Yeah, no. And here's the thing, dude. I mean, it's almost impossible for me to, when people are like, okay, you moved over to Thailand for the weather. Where'd you come from? I'm like, San Diego. Now, I'm sure living in OC, you got this too. But San Diego, for some reason, there has been some marketing thing over the last 50 years where the entire United States has this belief, which is it's their belief, it's not a truth, that San Diego has perfect weather. And I'm like, dude, I lived on the beach in San Diego, and the worst thing about that, of course, is we get May gray and June gloom, right? And then that stuff hangs right on the coast. Even when I lived inland in San Diego, it wasn't so bad because that the marine layer would burn off. But no, it doesn't have perfect weather as far as I'm concerned. I mean, September and October are nice and warm. and many people think it's too hot. I would get out in my car and my thermometer on the dash would say like 99 degrees, 100. I'm like, finally. You know, and of course, and I would have like the window open in my office, right? And it would be like people would walk by my office because I actually had the AC vents closed off because I didn't want it to be cold in there. And it's San Diego, for Christ's sake. And I'm like, dude, I don't need heat. So I mean, it's just like, well, I needed heat. But I'm like, I don't really need air. I mean, we're right by the water, you know. But yeah, I just love the heat. Absolutely. I completely agree, dude. The whole spoiled thing. Yeah, I mean, it's tough to convince people, like, because I would go home to Boston right over the summer, and they would be like, "Oh my God, isn't it hot over there?" And they're like, "How come you know?" And that's the only reason I go home over the summer, because it's hot and humid in Boston. New England can get really, really hot and humid, and you know. But again, then like a couple of days later, it can get cold again. I can see like sort of the jitter in my video, which is really, I appreciate you guys watching, but it's very distracting. Anyway, how long have I been going? Yeah, so it's about 40-45 minutes. It's really cool. Well, dude, I'm stoked. Shoot me an email, and thank you other guys for coming by. I really appreciate it. It's neat kind of trying out this new platform. So yeah, full-time foreigner, Van Build It. And now Van Build It, remind me, you are Logan, right? And we connected online, and you're yeah. And so that's gonna be cool. We're gonna meet up, right? Good. See how I answered my own question? And then Chris, of course, we all know Nomad Global Productions, or NGP, baby. So yeah, thanks for coming by. And of course, I mean, God, Patty comes by. Are you kidding me? And that's just maybe Jim Rome is going to come by next too. Anyway, with that, happy Friday, everybody. And it's Mike's from LiveMyAssOff.com saying, I hope you're living the dream, because if you're not living the dream, then there's a high likelihood that you've probably got lousy Wi-Fi and a 79-inch Chromebook, and your video is stuttering, and you just can't stand it. And you don't know where the end stream button is because your finger's so big it's in the way. Talk to you guys soon.